My good friend and world-renowned economist Tom Hegna has been saying something for decades, and people need to listen to him. Tom will often say, if every wife knew what every widow knows, there would be a lot more life insurance in the house. Why do you need to listen to Tom on this? Well, I can tell you. You see, every year, June 23rd is recognized as International Women's Day, and this is a great reminder to never forget what happens when someone loses their spouse. Here's what happens when the first spouse dies. The smaller Social Security check disappears completely. A husband and a wife receiving $4,500 a month between the two of them could drop to $3,000 overnight. That's an $18,000 annual income cut in a single moment. Pension and survivor benefits often get slashed, and the surviving spouse with less income suddenly files as a single taxpayer in far less favorable tax brackets. There's less income, higher taxes, and the same expenses. And this is a trap. Here's the part that breaks my heart. Most of this could be prevented. You see, life insurance solves this problem completely. The death benefit arrives income tax-free, it replaces the lost income, and gives the surviving spouse control instead of dependency. Tom Hegna has always shared publicly that his personal rule of thumb regarding the importance of life insurance has not changed in 35 years. Tom says you should carry at least $1 million of life insurance for every $50,000 of income. In other words, if a household earns $150,000 annually, they should have $3 million of tax-free life insurance coverage. Now that may sound like a lot to you, but trust me on this. You will never meet a widow who wishes her husband had less life insurance coverage. They always wish it was more, and it's normally a lot more. Far too often, there is no tax-free income replacement waiting for them when they need it the most. You see, for decades, Americans have been taught to build the biggest 401k possible. They are told to save for their retirement with pre-tax dollars. They are told to take the deduction now because their tax rates will allegedly be lower during their retirement years. Taking the deduction now and letting the money grow tax-deferred should help them retire comfortably. Now, while this all sounds good, I've watched this end up not being the case more than 50% of the time for retirees, and here's why. You see, a traditional 401k can be one of the most powerful savings tools available to working Americans. The employer match is a great benefit, but remember, when it's tax-deferred, that's not all your money. This account is jointly owned by Uncle Sam, and he gets to set the tax rates for your distribution in the future when you need the money the most during your retirement years. These payroll deductions require knowledge and discipline. Yes, the upfront tax deduction for a 401k can help high-income earners reduce taxable income during their working years, but it also means greatly increased taxes in the future when they're retired because of the impact on your Social Security income and possible IRMA issues with your Medicare premiums. It could also become a major problem because future tax rates are unknown, and they could be much higher than they are right now. Don't ever forget, a 401k is not just a retirement account. For most people, it is a future income stream. And for many married couples, that taxable income stream can become a major tax issue after the first spouse dies. This is because of something often referred to as the widow's penalty. Widows outnumber widowers 3-to-1 in the United States, and that's why it's called the widow's penalty. There are currently 11.5 million widows and only 3.7 million widowers. Now you might be thinking, what exactly is the widow's penalty? It's the moment when a surviving spouse loses part of their household income, keeps many of the same expenses, inherits or continues control over tax-deferred assets, and eventually files under less favorable single tax brackets. For many couples, the first financial shock is what happens with their Social Security income and taxation. Without the deceased spouse's Social Security check, their household income drops immediately. While both spouses are living, each person may receive a monthly benefit. But after one spouse dies, the surviving spouse does not continue receiving both checks. Social Security will generally allow the survivor to receive the higher of the survivor benefit or their own retirement benefit, but the payments are not added together. So for example, if a husband receives $3,000 per month from Social Security and his wife receives $1,500 per month, the household was receiving $4,500 per month in income while they were both alive. After the death of the first spouse, the surviving spouse may get to continue the higher $3,000 per month benefit, but the lower benefit of $1,500 per month will stop immediately. That's an $18,000 annual income reduction, and most people are not prepared for this loss of income. It's hard for many people to recover from this loss if they don't have a plan in place for replacing this lost income. Then comes the second problem, taxes. You see, a married couple normally files jointly, giving them a more favorable tax bracket. But after the first spouse dies, the survivor will move out of the joint tax bracket into the single tax bracket. In 2026, the 22% federal bracket begins at taxable income over $50,400 for a single filer, compared to over $100,800 for married couples who are filing jointly. The surviving spouse will have less income than before because of the loss of the Social Security and possible pension payments. And yet, they might be pushed into a tax structure that is roughly 1/2 of what it was when they were filing jointly. A surviving spouse often has more flexibility than a non-spouse beneficiary when inheriting retirement assets. A spouse beneficiary may be able to treat an inherited IRA as their own. They could roll it over or use other distribution options depending on their facts. If most of the wealth couple is inside a traditional 401k, traditional IRAs, or tax-deferred retirement accounts, the surviving spouse may be forced to fund their life from accounts where every distribution is taxed as ordinary income. So just think about this for a minute. When there is no tax-free life insurance or Roth IRA money left to a surviving spouse, distributions for income from tax-deferred accounts like 401ks and IRAs will be 100% taxable. If you need a $30,000 vehicle, that distribution will be 100% taxable. If you need a $10,000 roof, that distribution will be 100% taxable. If you have $25,000 in medical expenses that arise, it will be 100% taxable. The widow's penalty is rarely caused by one bad decision. It's usually caused by years of not planning for the future. As you plan for your retirement years, you will need to be working with an advisor who will help you focus on the following warning signs. You need to have a better plan in place if the following is true. Most of your wealth is held in traditional 401ks or IRAs. One spouse has a much larger Social Security benefit than the other. Your pension income will drop or disappear after the death of the first spouse. The surviving spouse would likely have to file single with similar income needs. There are only a few Roth, taxable, or cash assets that are available. The couple has never planned financially for the death of the first spouse. Beneficiary designations have not been reviewed in recent years. And finally, the heirs are likely to inherit tax-deferred accounts during their own high-income years. You see, the question is not, will the surviving spouse have money? The better question is, will the surviving spouse have financial control once they are living their life alone? Having worked with more than 2,000 retirees from all over the United States for the past 2 decades, I can tell you this. The majority of people are not prepared for what happens after the death of the first spouse, and many of them struggle with the widow's penalty and other financial hardships after the funeral. And this creates not only financial problems, but also emotional and health-related problems because of all of the stress that's involved. This is what happens far too frequently. Almost immediately after the death of the first spouse, one Social Security check disappears. The survivor moves into less favorable tax brackets. Pension income drops. RMDs, known as required minimum distributions, continue. Major withdrawals for unexpected life events become taxable events, and children and grandchildren eventually inherit the remaining tax problem from these accounts. And here's the thing. All of these things could be avoided with proper planning. So don't ever forget, the best planning for your financial future does not begin after someone's funeral. It begins while both spouses are still alive, seated at a table together, with enough time to make better decisions for their future. As retirement income and tax planning professionals through the American College, this is what we do for our clients every single day. We do proactive financial planning for the unexpected life events that you are sure to face during your retirement years. And it is our goal for every client to step into a safe and secure future, one that will give you peace of mind and happiness. If we can help you in any way, just reach out to us at ozarksretirement.com. Just click on the Contact Us button and request a free financial consultation. Hey, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.